in Parshas Pinchas, the Torah tells us the story of Pinchas, who killed Zimri ben Salu, who committed znus with Kasbi bas Tzur, and because he was atachas hashakina leilekav vayachaper al bnei Yisrael. The Gemara, the Midrashim tell us that this Zimri ben Salu had 3 names. According to the Gemara, he had 5 names. According to the Medrash Tanchuma, he had 3 names. We'll use the Medrash Tanchuma because it's more simpler to deal with. He had 3 names. The first time that we meet Zimri ben Salu was when Yankov and his family went down to Mitzrayim, and the Torah enumerates all the 70 nefashos, 70 people who went down with Yankov Avinu to Mitzrayim, and according to the Mishpachas, and Shemain, among the sons of Shemain, Shaul ben HaKnaanis. Shaul, the son of the Knaanis. And the Gemara darshans, this Shaul, he is Zimri ben Salu. Why is he called Shaul? Shehishil es atzmai la'avayra. He has lent himself to do an avayra. He lent himself. He gave himself out for the service of an avayra. Ben HaKnaanis, he is the son of Dina, who was violated by Shechem. Shenivala leknani. She was violated by Shechem. It seems that since we're going to meet this Shaul ben HaKnaanis in a later Sedra, in the Pasha of Balak and Pinchas, and there we find that Zimri ben Salu did an Aveira with Kasbi bas Tzur. Zimri ben Salu was a Nasi of the Shevet Shemain. Where did this come to him? How was he ever able to fall to such depths? The answer is, he had some impurity in himself. That impurity stems back to his great-grandmother Dina, the daughter of Yankov. The holy Dina Haggadosha, the daughter of Yankov Kadeshenu Kadesh Yankov. She was violated by Shechem ben Chemaya, and apparently he injected some impurity into her. That impurity came down later into her child, Zimri. And the Torah calls him Shaul. He has lent himself to an Aveira. And the Torah says, why did he lend himself to an Aveira? The answer is Ben HaKnaanis. He is a son of Dina who was violated by a Knani. He had an impurity himself which he inherited from his mother. His essence, his etzem, was pure. He is this one of the 70 nefashos that the Torah says Eidos that they were oivdim lekeil echad. He's a wonderful heilige neshama, but there's some dirt on him. It has to be washed off. There's an impurity in him, and therefore, because he has lent himself to the Aveira. The next time that we meet Zimri, we find him in the Sedre in Nasai, in Bamidbar and in Nasai, and in Bahaloischa. We find him in the splendor of Nisan, and there his name is Shlumiel ben Tzuri Shaddai. Shlumiel, the son of Tzuri Shaddai, the Nasi of the Shevet of Shemain. In his splendor, he is Shlomiel ben Tzuri Shaddai. In his fall, he is Zimri ben Salu. When he fell, he's not Shlomiel ben Tzuri Shaddai anymore. He has been stripped of this distinction of Shalom, Shlomiel, and the one who killed him took that distinction, Pinchas. Hanini Naisan Layas Brisi Shalom. The Shalom went over to Pinchas, the Shalom of the word Shlomiel. And Tzuri Shaddai, also Pinchas took over. Because this name, Shin Daled and Yud, that is the name of the greatest attribute that a Yid has. Kedushas Habris, a tzaddik. every mitzvah has its particular Shem HaKadosh, one of the Sheva Shemis. The Shem of Bris Milah is the Shem Shakai, Shin Dalet and Yud. When the Rabbi Shalom gave the mitzvah Bris Milah to Avram Avinu, he told him, Ani Keil Shakai, V'salach Lefanei V'hayei Samim. If you were ever present by a bris, you would notice that when they say the pasuk, B'damaya Chayi, the male will dip his finger into the wine of the Kaishal Bracha, and he will write on the child's tongue the Shem, Shin Dalet and Yud. That's the Shem of the bris. So Shlomiel ben Tzuri Shaddai lost that Shem, and Pinchas took it over. He became Eliyahu Navi, a Malach HaBris, who comes to every bris. It's the impurity of Shechem that caused this fall of Shlomiel ben Tzuri Shaddai. The Ari HaKadosh reveals to us a wonderful revelation, something which is surprising. Hold your cheers. This Zimri ben Salu came down in a different Gilgal, over 1,000 years later. You know who? Rabbi Akiva. Of all things, he's Rabbi Akiva. This Kazbi Bas Tzur also came down again. She was the wife of Turnus Rupus, the tyrant, the Roman tyrant, who later was Megayer herself, and she became the wife of Rabbi Akiva. In other words, both these neshamas came, and more yet, Kazbi was really Dina. Dina came down as Kazbi, then she came down again as the wife of Turnus Rupus, the Gentile, who was Megayer herself, and became the wife of Rabbi Akiva. And therefore the Ari HaKadosh explains that because of the Aveira of Zimri ben Salu, 24,000 Jews lost their lives in the Magaifa. Vayiyu hamesim b'Magaifa abba v'yeschem elef, 24,000. So therefore Rabbi Akiva also lost 24,000 Talmidim in the days of Sfira, mipnei shelo nagu kavid zeh b'zeh, and that's why we have the Aveilus of Sfira. This is as far as what the Ari HaKadosh tells us. He tells us more details, but we won't go into them now. As I mentioned before, we read the Parsha of Pinchas when the Chodesh Av comes around, especially this year, when it was mamish the Shabbos of the Mevarchim Av. Shvatim, Reuben, Shimon, Levi, and so on. And there are 12 Chadashim, Nisan, Iyar 7, and so on. These 12 Chadashim correspond to the 12 Shvatim. Each Shevet has its Chodesh. Or if you will, each Chodesh has its Shevet. According to the Galim, to the Seder of the Galim, the way it's mentioned in Parshas Bamidbar and in Nosai and Bahaloischa. That is, the first, and the way we have them by the Chanukas HaMizbeach. By Yom HaRishon, the first day of Nisan, was the Hikriv, the Nachshon ben Aminadav, the Nasi of the Shevet Yehuda. In other words, Nisan is Yehuda. The second day, the second Chodesh, which is corresponding to the second day in Nisan, Aviv, Av Yud Beis. The second day is Yisascha. Yisascha is Iyar. Then comes Zvulun, which is Zvulun, which is 7, and Tammuz and Av is Reuven and Shimon. So when we bench Rosh Chodesh Av, and now we are experiencing the days and the Hanhagais and the Halachais of the Chodesh Av, actually, what we are having now is the Chodesh of Shemai. Who was the Nasi of Shemai? Shlomiel ben Tzuri Shaddai, who was called Shaul ben Aknanis, who was also called Zimri ben Salu. Each of these names denotes a certain period in the life of this Nasi, in his greatness and in his lowness. By Yom HaChamishi, Nasi Livnei Reuven, Shalomeo ben Suri Shaddai. And that corresponds with the Chodesh HaChamishi, the fifth Chodesh, Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, and Av. We know that the Chodesh Av is a sorrowful Chodesh, it's a melancholy Chodesh, it's inconvenient Chodesh. We can't wash, we can't eat meat or drink wine. There's a lot of inconveniences. We're uncomfortable in this Chodesh. However, my purpose now is not to go into the availus of the Chodesh. I'd rather go into the greatness of the Chodesh. I don't want to talk about the Chodesh of Zimri ben Salu. I'd rather talk about the Chodesh of Shalomeo ben Suri Shaddai. Because the Navi Zechariah promises us that a time will come, when Mashiach will come, that this Chodesh of will be the tap of Or HaChadoshim. And it'll be a partner with Nisan, and even more yet. The Masha says even more yet, and so did the Sfarim say. The 3 weeks will be the most joyous part of the year when Mashiach will come. Tisha B'Av is like Shmini Atzeres. That's what the Masha says in the Yad Sfarim, that the 21 days between Shiva Asar B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av are corresponding to the 21 days between Rosh Hashanah and Simchas Torah, Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. And the Tisha B'Av is Simchas Torah, the most joyous day in the year. That's what it's going to be. And the Navi Zechariah says, Tzayma Revi'i, Tzayma Chamishi, Yiyu leBeis Yehuda, leSasain uleSimcha uleMayadem Tovim. There'll be very great Mayadim, very joyous events. This Tzayma Revi'i, which means Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, and this Tzayma Chamishi, which means Tisha B'Av. Zimri ben Salu was the Nasi of the Chodesh Av. Being the Nasi, he represents whatever Av represents. He is the generator of what the Chodesh Av is. He is, in fact, if you want, the pasuk tells it to you befeirish. V'shem ish Yisrael hamukeh, Zimri ben Salu, Nasi Beis Av. He is the Nasi of those of Av, the family of Av, the Shevet Shimon. La Shemaini. His history corresponds with the Chodesh Av. Zimri ben Salu was a great man. The second Nasi, Zimri ben Salu, was the Nasi of the Shevet of Shimon, the second Shevet after Reuven. And he was a great man. He was, the Torah says Eidos on him, Shivim Nefesh, She'avdu L'Keil Echad. The Torah says Eidos that he was a person with perfect emunah, She'avad L'Keil Echad. His life was dedicated only to the Rabbi Yisrael. He was zeicher to be among by the bedside of Yankov Avinu when Yankov Avinu gave the brachas to his whole family, Shaul ben Aknanis. He was appointed to be the Nasi of Shimon by the Rabbi Yisrael alone, Al Pi Adibel. And this Zimri ben Salu, every year we celebrate his greatness. We don't say Tachanun the first 12 days of Nisan, because those were the days that the Nesiim brought their korban. And on the 5th day of Nisan, we don't say Tachanun, because by Yom HaChamishi, Hikchiv, Shalomeo ben Suri Shaddai, Lamate Shemai. It's his Yom Tov. Zimri ben Salu is great. He represents and corresponds with the history of Av, with the story of Av. Av, as the name implies, is a father. There's another Chodesh like that. Aviv, Nisan, Av Yud Beis, the father of the 12 Chodoshim. Shimon always goes together with Nisan. It's the first day of Nisan that the first day of Nisan that decides when Tisha B'Av. The first day of Pesach that decides when Tisha B'Av will be. Since last Pesach, if you remember, Shabbos was Erev Pesach, and the first day of Pesach when we sat down to the Seder was on a Sunday. So therefore Tisha B'Av will be on a Sunday. He has a shaychus with Shimon. The bracha of Shimon is together with Yehuda, with Nisan. Like Rashi says, Shema Yehuda Shema Hashem Kal Yehuda. Shema is Maramis to Shema. He goes together with Yehuda. He's Nasiv